Good morning, everyone. My name is Cassandra, and I am the marketing manager here with CRM Dynamics. I am working here today with Shubi, who is our CRM analyst and a superstar in our eyes. And today she's going to be showing you guys a little bit about PowerApps, which is a very fun and interesting tool that you guys can use to integrate with CRM as well as Office 365. So why don't you, Shubi, go ahead and take it from here.
Hello everybody, and welcome to this training session for Microsoft Dynamics 365. Today's session, as you already know it, will be covering the basics of PowerApps. My name is Shubi Pandey, and I am a CRM analyst here at CRM Dynamics in Mississauga, Ontario. My contact information is currently on your screen, and you're more than welcome to send me any questions or inquiries that you may have, and I'll make sure the appropriate individuals are brought in to answer any questions. So without further ado, let's get started. Just to give everybody a brief overview of what we'll be going through with PowerApps today is what exactly is PowerApps, what is the concept behind it, its capacities, and how easy it can be to create an app to use for you or your organization. So these days work happens on our phones, tablets, laptops, basically everywhere we go, in airplanes, on site, or even on customer meetings. And too often we find that our business applications are either dependent on our company device or are not optimized for mobile or not integrated with other services, and sometimes are not even accessible when and where people need them most, or on the device that they want to use. And not all companies have the time or resources to build a custom app for their employees, and only so many problems can be solved with off-the-shelf apps. So what Microsoft did was they took what you love most about Dynamics CRM and applied it to create a service that allows you to create and use business apps across platforms, apps that are designed to meet your unique requirements, apps that can be customized by you, that are integrated with all the softwares that you use, and that are rich and user-friendly. And that is what came to be known as PowerApps. Why is it so amazing? It can be designed, the apps can be designed by users who know the requirements best. So that is you guys. And it requires little to no code experience to build those apps. And we'll see it in the demo again. That puts the power to create these apps right into your hands, and hence the term PowerApps. They use craft forms and screens in a visual designer that helps you see exactly what you will get once the app is ready. It's available across platforms, so Windows, iOS, Android, and it also has the ability to use your device's capacities such as cameras, GPS, or digital ink in the apps. And it can be connected not only to softwares provided by Microsoft, so Dynamics 365 services or Office 365 services, but also with over 90 other services that you may use in your business or everyday life, and that not only range from sales, marketing, but also field services or personal things such as Google Drive or that you may be using. And if these 90 services are not enough for you, they also have the ability to connect to a custom API, which of course would require some development experience. Now, the question comes how to get PowerApps. Currently, PowerApps is free for anybody who has an Office 365 or Dynamics 365 online license. So you could basically go to your Office 365 portal, so that's portal.office.com, and see the PowerApps icon right there. If it's enabled for you and your organization, for which you could contact your Microsoft admin. But if you want a little more functionality than that, the free version, of course, is limited to the number of flows you can use per month, the data storage that you can use. You could go for Plan 1, which gives you about 4,500 flows every month and 20 MB of data storage. And which is great for individuals, but for admins who want who have much greater needs, such as create multiple environments to create different kinds of apps with different security models, or connect your app to different services and set policies and view the usage, you would like to go for the plan 2. That gives you about 15,000 flows and ability to do all those things. And of course, there may be a time when you might reach the top of what you could do with Power Apps, and that's when developers come in who can extend the functionality to much greater limits using the Azure App Store. You could get these as trial, and these trials last for about 90 days, so it will give you more than enough time to get familiar to the app, play with it, see the sample templates that they provide, and how it could come to use for your organization. So let's get to the demo. Okay. So once again, I am on portal.office.com, so that's my homepage for Office 365, and as you can see here, right here is Power Apps. When you open it, it takes you to your homepage where you can see any recent apps that you have been using or that your organization has enabled for you. There are some great resources right here when you scroll down to how to create an app, how to use the common data model, the connections, the environments, and basically take a much deeper dive into how Power App works. And then there are some sample apps, such as which we'll take a quick view in, such as the service desk, which can be used by people who take care of a lot of cases for service management. So you can view all tickets, and this data basically can come from anywhere from your CRM, from any other services that you may be using, even Excel sheets for that matter. And as you can see, it's pretty quick, it's pretty rich, and it is very, very easy to make. Then we have some samples. You can connect your contacts from Microsoft 365. You can connect your cases from Salesforce or CRM Dynamics or any other that you may be using. Next section here are the apps, which again provide a list of all the apps that are enabled for your organization or you as a user. Here are all the connections. So connections are basically the services that you want your Power Apps to be connecting with. I have the common data services enabled, Dynamics 365, because I'm going to be demoing you how it connects to CRM, Outlook, and notifications. So push notifications is something that allows you to send notifications on your Android or iPhone or tablets. So that, and you could always add a new connection by simply clicking New and select from a varied list of connections. It can range from Blogger and Chatter to Dropbox, Dynamics 365, Financials, Eventbrite, and so on and so forth. So just to do a quick demo, if we were to add a new Dynamics 365 connection, all I would do is click this plus sign here, and it'll ask me to create. And it basically asks you for an email or your user ID and password to create that connection. Mine is already saved on this device, and it's as easy to create that. So this is the one we just created like 7 seconds ago. The next thing that comes around is flow. So once you have your app ready, you might want to take the data that people enter in that app or use the data that's there on that app and connect it with other services that we just saw in your connections. Those can be, again, 365 and Outlook. I have a sample flow here that uses those two services that I'll be demoing shortly. So all your flows are basically listed here. Then we have gateways. It hasn't been enabled for this environment, but gateways allow you to connect to services that are on-premise or hosted, as opposed to services and connections that are mostly online. And then there are notifications, and then the common data services, which is based on the common data model by Microsoft, in which they've put in a lot of hard work. So it basically takes all the entities. They give you a generic list of entities to start with, your contacts that are built from various sources that you can connect them to. You can always add a new entity. You can set up your pick list, the way the data is stored, the data types, and things like that. Now let's go quickly and create a new app. Now again, Power App Studio, which is different from Power Apps, because Power Apps allows you only to view an app or add data in it, and which is meant for end users. The Studio, on the other hand, is meant for the people who want to develop using Power Apps. So let's just create one. It's available on Windows and web. We're going to use the one in Windows. Okay. Since I already have it installed, I'm going to go ahead and start creating a new one. We'll go into New, and we select which data storage do we want to act as a primary storage. So let's select Dynamics 365. And then it'll ask you to choose a data set. So if you have multiple instances on multiple companies enabled in your environment, it'll basically give you a list of everything on there. So currently I only have one called CRMD, so I'm going to select that. This right here is the list of all the entities that are available on that instance. I just created a custom entity called webinar feedback. So I'm going to select that. You can always search for the ones you're looking for, and it's very good. And it's very good to see that they not only support the out-of-the-box entities, but also take in any custom entities or custom fields that you may have added to them. So I'm quickly going to click on Connect, and it'll get things ready for me. What is great about PowerApps is it is completely user-friendly. It does not require much of code. It does use an Excel-based function that lets you put in what you want to do with, say, buttons or text fields and things like that. But other than that, you will never have like a black screen with white lines on there to code anything. So here. So what it did is it basically took all the fields that are there on this entity and then created a sample app already. So this right here would be your main page where they would give you a list of, kind of like a list of all the records that are present on that entity. Currently there are 2, and that's why you can view them. And then this is like more of a detailed page. And this one is to enter a new page. We can start from here, or we could build an app from scratch, which is what we are going to do today. Okay, so let's go back again and click New, and not select anything and just build an app from scratch from phone. But before we do that, I do want to show you some templates that they have available. One thing about the templates is it does ask you to select what storage do you want, which is the common database model or Google Drive or OneDrive, and it's very limited. It does not allow you to use all the services that are available at this point of time. It's of course on Microsoft's to-do list right now, but what it does let you do is just open it, connect it to anything, and I'm going to save this. And lets you view how these apps are created. So it's very good for when you're just learning to reverse engineer things a little and see how these apps are built. And they're very, let's go back again. Okay, let's open something called contest registration, for example. Okay, so this one is more of a tablet view. It's been created to suit tablets. And then you have basically a button called Enter to Win. And then you can add your name. So let's say CRM Dynamics, an address, a phone number, a Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want to give, and then click Continue. And then in this particular app, it's asking you to select 5 activities. I'm just going to click on random. And then that's an app, which is pretty easy to build. And today, in fact, we're going to build something very, very similar to that. So let's get started. Oops. Okay, so we're going to create a new app from blank, and it's called Phone Layout. Okay, now the first thing is let's connect it to a data. And the data source we are going to use is going to be Dynamics 365, CRMD, and again, okay, webinar feedback. We click Connect. Okay, now that's connected, you'll be able to select one of many layouts. So it does give you default options of so many. Let's just select something that's pretty simple and straightforward for now. Let's say this one. And this will be our main screen or the list. Okay, and then it also allows you to select the theme that you want your app to have. So let's just stick to Seal for now. Okay, so here. And as you can see, this is where you'll be able to say what do you want to define. So currently in the title, it's just a blank text, and so hence the text here, and we want to call it webinar feedback. Okay, it does give you a few buttons by default, but it's very easy to add one. It's just go to the insert section and click on button, and then you'll be able to drag and drop them wherever you want. Rename them right from there, and let's say submit. Okay, and on select, so that's the function that you wanted to give on select. Let us say it will an action run a flow. So this right here will give you a list of flows that you already have created. I have one called create CRM record, and that's what this button will do. It'll create a CRM record. Now see this notification icon right here? That tells you that it's incomplete. So they've done a very good job at sort of indicating where things need to get done, and if you get an error message, they also give you a link to Microsoft's website where they have defined the errors and how to work around them or what to do in order to avoid getting that error in future. Okay? I'm going to change the layout of the page to be blank, so we can start building an app quite from scratch, and then click text box. Okay, it added a text box right here, and let's call it name. So as you can see here in the insert section, there's text here and then text again here. The difference between the two is when you click this one, it'll allow you to pick what kind of text you want. Is it an input box? Is it an HTML text, or is it a pen input? Pen input is used to let people do signatures, which field services people might use a lot, to get signatures at the end of your work orders, say, or to get a signature from somebody for approval or things like that. And if your device has that capability, it will of course use that. Now this one right here is a text input, which is set to blank right now. If you go to advanced, you'll be able to see all the designing aspect of it, and also be able to change any. So if it's select it. Do you want the box to turn blue? Do you want the box to turn gray? Do you want it to redirect to someplace else, or things like that? In design mode right here, you can specify what height it is, what radius is it around here, what kind of thickness is there, what border is it, what color it is, and so on and so forth. It has become pretty similar to designing websites, essentially, and it also supports native shortcuts such as copy paste. So currently here I just clicked Control C and Control V, and I'm adding another field called company. And what this does is it makes it really fast for you to build an app. And I'm basically just dragging and dropping and these text areas here and setting this one to blank again. Okay. Another thing is these are defined by, sorry, all these items have a name, which if you're familiar with CRM is the schema name in case of entities or fields. This one right here is called textbox1. You can of course change it if you click on home. So textbox1, I can rename it to say name field. So anytime you use formulas or things like that, these are the names that you will be using. So it might be easier to just put them to something that is easily recognizable or that you can find when you're putting in some functions. So I'm going to copy and paste again and drag and drop this field. Cool. Okay. Control Z. Okay. Paste. Okay, what's wrong with me? Just paste there. And say an email. So as you can see, I'm quite literally just typing things up. It has become so simple, and Microsoft takes care of all the security and the backend and data integration and things like that. So developers, or if you're building that app, you can focus more on the requirements rather than focusing on the nitty-gritty of how the app is being built. Now, okay. Okay. There. Comments. And copy. Paste again. Now this one here, although I copied and pasted a single line text, if you want to convert it to multi-line text, you'll be able to just go here on advanced and change the property from here. So the mode here defines what kind of field it is. So it's in text mode, the way we want to leave it. And then we're going to put it to multi-line mode. So text mode dot. So as you can see, it suggests things that you are supposed to be putting there, which makes it very easy to not remember code at all, or what it's exactly called as well. And right here, I'm going to increase the height to, say, 140. And run. And this submit button right here, you know how it says gives you like an arrow saying this is incomplete. The reason for that is the flow uses these fields exactly, the name, company, email, and comments, to create a record in our CRM in the custom entity called webinar feedback. And in order for that to happen, we need to specify which fields go where. And it's pretty interesting. It'll be color-coded and all soon. So let's go there. So I'm going to say we rename the name field as name field. And that's the reason why it's a good idea to just rename the out-of-the-box titles. The company is company, and you see how this is red, and this has a border of red in order for you to ensure that you're mapping things to the right place. The third one was email, but since we did not rename it, it followed the previous field of the same type and gave it the title of _1, _2, and so on after that. So, and then the comments, so company 2, and then that's it. So this basically will be used to run a flow on the back end using these fields exactly. Now okay. Now that that's done, there's a play button here, which is pretty similar to how you present or preview your presentation in PowerPoint, where you can see what your app would look like. And let's try this again. And you'll be able to enter your comments and emails just like that and click Submit, which will in return trigger that workflow. Okay. Now let's have a look at the flow and what it does right there. So this flow right here is the flow that we used in our app in the Submit button. And what it does is you add a step called PowerApps, which gets connected once you add that function in the Submit button. And then it triggers two actions here. One is it creates the CRM record. So the organization name, the entity is again webinar feedback, and it maps, when we map the fields from name to name, the company to company, the email to email, and then the comments to comments. And then what we'll do is send an email to myself with the subject of new feedback from this person. And here, as you can see in HTML, I have the body of the email. In advance, you can set up who it's going from. Of course, you'd need authorization from that email address owner, who it's copying or blind copying, any attachments that you want to put in at all times, how important it is it HTML or not, and things like that, right? And once that's there, we'll click Update Flow. And that's there. It does have sharing options and capacities like that to set up which people have access to which apps, the apps you own, and what level of sharing do they have. So for example, let's open this app. Okay. So what I've done here is, so you see share here. I've added another user called guest@crmddemo.onmicrosoft.com and set it as a user, which I'll provide you access with, so you can have a look at the app and sort of how it works. And again, you can set up the icon, you can set up the name, any backgrounds, descriptions, and any media, and so on and so forth. It's pretty easy to get this app. So if you're using iPhone or Android, just go to your local app store and search for PowerApps. And once you're there, sign in with these credentials right here that are on your screen. Sorry. So guest.crmddemo.onmicrosoft.com, and the password is crmdlearning. So just sign in with that and you'll be able to see the app. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to send it to me. And I appreciate your